Fine. So dumb.
All right, y'all. Bearded Bros Golf Show. You probably caught some of that feedback already. Um, Having some technical difficulties. If you're watching, let us know if Marcus's sound is thrown off. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
Like I said, I think it's Marcus, but tell us in the chat if it's weird on Marcus's side or mine. This is a weird week for golf this week, man. I'm actually very disappointed, and part of it's weather related. Can't do anything about acts of God. It is what it is. Pebble Beach being you know hit with the weather, 60 mile per hour gust this to on Sunday. Excuse me, where round four was scheduled, and had weather on day one as well. Middle of the tournament was a little bit chilly, but tolerable enough to play, without any rain and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
we're going to see a Monday finish, hopefully. Hopefully the weather calms down and they don't get too much rain. They've been soaked by water this week. So hopefully that comes around. What'd you think of Wyndham Clark pulling out a course record 60 yesterday, my guy?
Uh Man, just caught wind of it, tail end of work and stuff like that yesterday. It was a real good look. Dude was doing his thing, man. I really feel like he's an aggressive putter. So like on greens like Pebble Beach, where as the day goes by and more people putt on them and stuff like that, you just have to be more aggressive and trust your line. I mean, just word to what Tiger Woods was talking about when he won it in the U.S. Open, and just of course he plays all the time. So seeing him putt aggressively and right to the cup and stuff like that, and had multiple chances to get to 59, just a really good look. So, yeah, good on him. And yeah, I mean, kind of just like what you were saying in the notes. I mean, really, just all the murmurs quit. So he's had finally had some time to just focus on the game and really go to work. So it was just a good look overall. Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I agree. I think, the distractions which were mentioned during the American Express for Clark, I think have subsided. The rumors in the background were that Terrell Hadden and Wyndham Clark were kind of vying for that last spot on Live, and we saw that
Yeah.
Terrell Hadden ended up moving over on Sunday of this week. Last minute for him to join his team in Mayakoba, Mexico for the start of the live season, not cutting it close or anything. But
Yeah.
yeah. And so I don't know. Like I said, when you see him, it's like central casting. He looks the part of really just strapping, powerful golfer. And when he gets it going, I mean, he can pour it in. Clearly, he was beating the field average by 9 strokes, which is
Yeah.
nuts for him to go that low. But I think the interesting part is that had they gone out today, it's hard to go low 2 days in a row. You're trying to search for that feeling. He, like you said, he was aggressive with the putting, had it going, and so it's very hard again to just back that up with another low score. So I had my money on Aber to pull it out. He just kind of hung tough on round three and just kind of waiting it out, was a stroke back. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. I would hate for them to have to finish a 54 hole,
Yeah.
tournament, especially the elevated event, and kind of bringing Pebble back up to its prominence that it should be, and then having to move on down the street to Arizona to Phoenix for the waste management. So 2 years in a row that Pebble Beach has had to deal with weather. There's really no way around it, other than
True.
maybe moving it back a couple of weeks in the schedule, maybe switching with the Genesis. I don't know. That doesn't seem like that's ever going to happen, but this seems to be a common trend here with the Pebble Beach. Let's see what's going on here. I'm delayed. Interesting. Okay. Um, Cool beans, Marcus. What I want you to do while I do some reconnections here is talk about something that you brought up is the big gaps in the LPGA schedule. We saw them
Yeah.
last week, finishing up on the drive on, and then we won't see them for another month. So I'm going to do some reconnection stuff, and you take over real quick for me.
Yeah. So as Rod was mentioning, the LPGA schedule is kind of spread out. They're finally gaining some traction as far as sponsors go and money goes and revenue and things like that. So you see them getting a lot more exposure. They're getting a lot more TV time on NBC and major networks and things like that. The only hang up to me and Rob, as we were just discussing, is things like, the spaces in between the action. You never really see that on the PGA Tour, but then again, they're pushing out 40-ish, 45-ish so events, so they don't really have a lot of hang up. I mean, a lot of time to do hang ups. Unfortunately, the LPGA, however, is traveling a lot, and they're going through their first bout of the Asian swing. So they're going to be in Asia, in Malaysia, and Korea for the next month or so, but that's not until the 22nd of February, I believe. And yeah, unfortunately, when you get a hot event and you got a lot of momentum going, it's unfortunate when things like this happen because everybody wants to still continue to support and watch the women's game grow, especially coming off of an exciting finish like Lydia Ko's almost hole out for an albatross on 17, and then Nelly Corda making a triple, kind of limping in, and then making an eagle birdie finish on 17 and 18 to get back into the playoff, and then winning in her hometown of Bradenton, Florida, to go ahead and take it. So when things like that happen, it's just kind of like bittersweet because it's like you want to see that more, but then you have to wait a month to see it. So, the girls are going to travel and we'll see them again February 22nd and things like that. But, it's just really kind of sour taste right now because we want to see them now. We want to continue seeing that and everything like that, but we don't have that opportunity at the moment. But it is what it is, and when they hop back on, it'll be at 10 p.m. our time or 9 p.m. our time, so we'll be able to catch it live and we'll be able to see it as they make their Asian tour swing. So it'll all work out, but just things like that where it would just be better served if the LPGA took maybe one week or 2 weeks maximum off before getting into that next field of events and things like that. Not, a whole month or so of layover before we get to that next event. What
Cool.
you think on that, Rod?
Thank
I
you,
kind of
Marcus.
pretty much, yeah, for sure.
No, I caught most of that. I was just
I
checking
pretty much,
my speed. Yeah, I caught most of that. So yeah, I'm excited to see them come back with Thailand, but I think it's another, we were excited how they started off the season, said they were really doing good about getting attention around the women's game in the LPGA. So it's disappointing to have this big of a gap, but they will come back with a bang, at least for us, right? So it caters to our
definitely.
our scheduling. We love the nighttime golf and just kind of being able to, especially during when it comes to the weekend, Friday, Saturday, getting to see the third and fourth rounds, at the end of the night and catching prime time. So I'm looking forward to that, but it sucks. Just this time of the year with golf feels really inconsistent and empty. I was really sad. I don't know. This weekend just had me feeling um, I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to overreact because again, Pebble Beach was due to weather. Live golf started, and I watched it. I know you watched it on Friday, and
Yeah,
I watched the second half of the final round today, and then the playoff. And I just don't feel great about golf right now, and I'm waiting for some really good tournaments to come around next week with the waste management, the Genesis coming up for the PGA guys. We'll have Live trying to compete neck to neck with the PGA playing in Las Vegas next week as well. So this is 2 weeks in a row that they'll be playing, but I don't know. Overall, I just kind of felt down about golf.
definitely. I mean, we're at a weird time right now. I mean, it's a lot of different sports going on, so we're not get golf's not getting the real forefront of the news and things like that with the Super Bowl coming up, spring training starting up, basketball heating up, trade deadline coming up. So a lot of these things are, varying issues of why golf is kind of probably, with TV and everything like that nowadays, they probably are meeting up and they're like, well, we have this going on for this week. So let's not really have that hot an event. Or if your network can handle it, then y'all go ahead and take care of that because we're going to be focusing on this event. And then later on in the season, when there's no real sports going on or there's like 40 baseball games going on in 2 days, then we can get some golf coverage and stuff like that. So hopefully, I know it all balance out. I'm not too disappointed about it. I'm actually, having to find live on YouTube. That was pretty, it was exciting, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It was funny though, because
Exciting.
today, yeah, I'm lying. But today, one of our members came in and was like, what y'all got on the tube? And we were watching like a replay of the third round. And he's like, there's live golf on. We can watch live right now. And he was like, and we're like, oh, yeah, on YouTube TV. And he was like, no, it's on CW. And I was like, you know what channel that is? Because I don't. He was like, you know what? Let me think about that. Because who really knows what channel CW is?
Well,
But
yeah, I think
you
I know.
know,
I think I know from my local area just because I watched so much of it today and, their
mm,
logo is prominent. But I agree. Like, so, and that's the crazy thing. So I was coming back from the round that I played today and was trying to find, the game to just have in the background on my way back home. And I went to YouTube again, just not being fully in tune with their whole programming deal is that they don't play the live rounds on YouTube on Sunday, maybe, or even the full weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I have to test it out
mhm.
again next week, but I think it's only Friday in certain regions that you can catch YouTube. So I think in the U they want you to go to your local CW channel over the weekend rounds, and
Probably.
then in countries that don't have, of course, the CW affiliate, you have to go. You can go through YouTube, but it did give me a warning. It said the user has not authorized your country for playback. It was an interesting pop up, and I
Oh,
was like, oh,
really?
that's right. It was, yeah. It's like they're driving you over to
Wow.
CW. But you would have to know that too. I can imagine if you weren't as plugged in as we were and kind of aware of where the TV channel was playing, that you just may miss out and just skip it altogether if you were just a casual viewer and trying to catch their stuff. So it's just it's an adventure. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
a
definitely.
scavenger hunt. It's a scavenger hunt trying to find their programming. Um, we mentioned also their results. It was we'll walk through it since Liv was really the only golf
Yeah,
worth
we'll talk about it.
discussing at this point. So we went into the week with, again, we mentioned it earlier, the John Rahm team finally coming together at the last minute with Terrell Hatton, Kieran Vincent, which I think his brother is on the Live Golf League, Scott Vincent, since inception, and then I'm gonna forget. I don't know this kid's name, but he's a college sophomore that was playing for Tennessee. Seems to have legit game. They picked him up at the last minute. Had to move out of his dorm to play for John Rahm's team, Legion 13, which he went into an explanation of his team name, and I'm like, dude, it's just way too deep. You're way too serious for Live. This is not that type of outfit where it takes thought
Right.
and execution on an idea. But it was just
Yeah.
interesting. So, another addition that they have this year is two wild cards every week, and I don't know how this is going to play out or how I haven't gone to the leaderboard to see how those wild cards or how they're even in the mix, but um, that's going to be in place all year, which I'm going to circle back to the wild card deal. So 13 teams times four players is 52. And then they have a total of 54 players in each tournament. So
Yeah.
did you catch anything outside of Friday, or was that your kind of shot at get your them giving a shot this weekend?
That yeah, that was kind of all I really made time for with it. But I guess with the Vegas event coming up next week, I'll give it a try again. You know, I feel like let me say this. I'm very, you know, I'm open-minded about it this season. It's not that bad of a product as I thought it was originally. They're making improvements. The graphics are busy, very busy. Um Feel like as soon as they highlight the next player, then it shrinks down to the team, then expands again for the players, and then the player is in yellow and everybody else is in black. But then it shows you a score, and I can't tell if it's the whole score or that day's score. Just things like that. It just
The
they
graphics
never
are
really
weird.
tell you, right? It's like it would make a lot more sense if you just had like final round, but like, when it's the third day, it's just kind of like it's the third day. And that's not really the whole event.
Right. We're used to thinking about it in different terms. I know, it's so crazy. And even when we've seen comments on the channel saying that, oh, the PGA Tour has a lot of 54 hole events. I'm sorry, sir or ma'am. That is not correct. You can count
That is the
on
PGA
single
Tour champions, buddy.
that, yeah. You do not see 3 round events on the PGA Tour. Even Tiger's 20-man event has 4 rounds. So
Right.
that one's always an interesting argument when you hear it. One thing that also, I'm going to present my screen here that I found interesting. So it kind of goes along with what you were saying with the scoreboard. At one point, literally this afternoon, they brought up Phil Mickelson, and they're like, "Oh, for the first time this year, we have captain of the High Flyers, Phil Mickelson, and God, what's his name? Used to be on Golf Channel from Scotland or Ireland. I'm forgetting his name.
David Faraday.
Yeah, David Faraday called him Filbert. And I was just like, this is so goofy, man. If people hate PGA Tour commentating, I don't think they're listening to Live with the sound on because it's so bad.
Right.
And it's so bad. And the Arlo White guy with his weird pronunciations, and it's just an interesting broadcast. The on course lady Sue sounds like she's out of breath every time she speaks a sentence. So first day, Friday, when you texted me, I started watching it in the car with no sound.
Yeah.
I could deal with it. I could deal with it. Today I listened with the sound, and I did not like it at all. It really took down my
Yeah.
opinion. So anyway, back to the scoreboard thing. They brought up Phil. First time showing him. I'm going to present this part, and I was surprised at how bad Phil is playing, especially a week after
Hella
saying
over
that
par.
he felt like he was in a good spot. So at the bottom of their listing, Harold Varner at plus 14. Phil, there were quite a few players at plus 11. Phil Mickelson, Pat Perez, Peter Uline. Let's go to all the over par guys. Andy Ogletree, Brendan Grace, which is disappointing because I always loved Brendan Grace's game. Denny Lee, Adrian Maronk, man, plus 5, bro. Get your money though. Thomas Peters, and this one also. I don't know how much of a fan you were of Thomas Peters, but back in our
Big fan.
DP World Tour days, I loved his passion.
Big
Very much
fan.
a perfectionist about his game. Really talented dude. To see him shooting numbers like plus 4, man, super disappointing. Did not have a round under par all week. Graham McDowell plus 4 as well. Mito Pereira plus 4. Um, and Carlos Ortiz plus 4. Again, Scott Vincent, we mentioned him earlier. Puig, Kazuma, don't know who the heck that is. Charles Schwartzel, the other Vincent brother, man, plus numbers all over the place. Henrik
Wow. Blast from
Stenson,
the past. Hudson Swafford.
yeah, man.
Jason
I remember.
Kokrak. Wow. Names I haven't seen in years for 300. God bless.
And then Lee Westwood. Okay, so this is also an interesting aspect. Again, just getting into their details. So the Majestics with that has Lee Westwood, Henrik Stenson, Ian Poulter, and I forget who their fourth player is, but they have three co-captains on the Majestics, which include again Poulter, Westwood, and Henrik Stenson. Let's find another blue dot. I think it's Sam Horsfield, who is actually a super talented player in his own right, but he is captained by three other people. So it was just an
Yeah,
interesting leaderboard, and kind of just back to the top here. In the four-hole playoff, we saw Joaquin Neiman take out Sergio Garcia in a four-hole playoff in the dark. It was not. I'm not kidding. Like they kept really emphasizing, "Hey, we're opening up the lenses fully, but it's dark out here." And I don't even know how they saw their drives, but even going into the green, the scoreboard was the only thing lighting the green up. And it was honestly pretty energyless around the grandstands there. But what do you think, man? Joaquin Neiman. I do have a comment to make after you kind of talk about your experience with Liv.
yeah. I you know it's just crazy because I feel like you would have like a really big turnout with two Spanish guys, prime in their prime, number one golfer, Masters winner, former Masters winner, and then Joaquin Neiman, a young up and coming Chilean who just won in Australia. And there's still hardly any crowd out there at Mayakoba, which is a resort course, which should be able to field plenty of people as we have seen before in the PGA Tour events. So, um, yeah, I just don't know what they're going to do to get crowds to come out and support. Um,
Yeah, it was
I
an
think
it
it
was
was
an
funny
interesting
though.
finish. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Of course, being a native Mexican, they had Abraham Answer being interviewed on Friday when I saw in the coverage.
Hmm.
He's talking it up. I've never seen this many kids out here before. It's just a different energy. I mean, I don't know. I think the energy is different because it's empty out there. That could just be me, but you know, it was
Where let's
crazy
see.
because like you
Let's see where he finished. Go ahead.
right. And then another thing, you see the chat and they had a few viewers, but really it was kind of like worse than what we would do. We're just gonna talk bad about it and not even post it. But like they were on the chat spamming hate, just hate watching it, right? It was
Oh,
crazy.
really?
Like,
Oh, and on YouTube.
yes, yes, on YouTube. Live is a joke. LOLOL. Who's watching this 54 event? LOLOL. Like stuff like that. I'm not even being funny. Like that was like every other comment. And there was a few
Wow.
people that they would mix in that was like trying to make it positive and again, trying to give it a chance and stuff like that. And it's gonna be tough. I will say though, going into the summer, as things slow down in other sports and you get a chance to highlight golf again, they have that deal with Google. It's a really cool deal. You just highlight the one player and you'll be able to watch them live wherever you may go or however you may, choose to do so. So if you individually love a golfer still, like if I were still in my Charles Schwartzel era, I could just type in his name on Google and he'd pop up and I'd be able to watch him in the events that they have. But
Yeah.
when we get to the end of the program, I got some things to say as far as, the merger goes and the qualifications because I've been thinking about it. And this is really just another easy way to simplify things and it's kind of almost like dang, is it really that simple? And it almost is. But let's
Okay.
go on to our next point, right?
Well, well, you mentioned Abraham Answer, so he finished even for the week, tied for 28th. So didn't really, bring it home. But you got your
Hey,
money though, bro.
host
So
country, yeah, host country, you made it at least even par. You were not last. You did something, Mr. Answer. You did
yeah.
something.
Um, and the interesting part was that it was a missed opportunity because John Rahm was actually tied at 11 under, or excuse me, 12 under going
12,
into
yeah.
his 17th hole. That's also something that I just do not. I get it. You get everybody gets to finish at the same time, and that's cool, or around the same time. But to me, I also like the format. I love the format. I'm not even going to say I like it. I love the format of, let's say I get out early on the course and I'm able to set a number and go into the clubhouse with the lead, or, set whatever the baseline
Yeah,
number is
put
that
pressure on
everybody
the
else is
guys.
chasing. Exactly. Versus on course at the same time. So John Rahm again had a chance to either win it outright or go into the playoff as well. Ends up pulling his drive, going into the hazard area and having to take a drop, ends up finishing with the bogey. Just, again, missed opportunity for them to capitalize off their newest star and newest team member. He did an interview after the round as well. And again, just the propaganda. John Rahm is not the most pleasant when he doesn't win. Um, in an interview setting, and he was is you could just tell that his answers, he's been sticking to the script. You know what he's going to pretty much say. He did. They asked him about the team concept, and he's like, "It's interesting. It's going to take me some time to get used to. It does make me think a little bit different when I'm out there having to kind of rally for the team versus just myself." But he
Right.
doesn't really give, full kudos to the concept. He just says it's interesting and he's getting used to it. So I just found those
Yeah.
kind of just making some notes about some of the things that they were talking about. And again, as darkness fell upon this playoff, you could tell that there was a little bit of stress behind finishing up on a Monday. I almost wanted to see how that would turn out if they would actually return, because again, the commentator Arlo White came back and said, "Hey, we need to head to Vegas. We're doing a Thursday start next week, and we'll have the Live Golf team." It did not sound like they were going to commentate for it, but David Fairley said,
Yeah.
"Well, I'll be here." And it got really awkward in the booth. It's just so I wanted so badly to see them just say we're gonna have a tie, or say something, in this crazily. Another nuance that they were talking about again as darkness fell upon them, to take carts to the balls after hitting them off the tee box. And at
Oh
first Sergio
Lord.
Garcia was opposed to it, and you could tell Joaquin Neiman was irritated by it. The cameras were in everybody's faces, and the rules official was saying it's just an option, and then Joaquin Neiman's like, "I'm taking the cart, man." Again, this is on the third playoff hole, and then
Right.
Sergio and his caddy hopped in the cart. But it was very interesting drama coming down the end. So I think for at least for the nuance of it, and just kind of seeing how they're building this plane as they fly it, I found that part entertaining, at least, because it's like they're
Yeah.
just figuring this shit out as they go.
I mean, for real. I mean, like, so again, Friday when I watched again, it's like what you said with the shotgun start. Cool, everybody finishing at about the same time. Everybody's pretty much in the same amount of coverage for 30, maybe 5 hours, la da 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 da. But like the commentators, you're going into your third season now, and you're still fumbling through your sheets of where people started, and then you have to do mental math to count and see how many holes they played. This is on Friday. They're like, yeah, we're watching Sergio right now. He's on his yeah, this will be his 14th hole. Bro, if he was starting from one, we'd easily be able to tell this. But again,
Right.
kudos to them.
It,
And then one
even the
last thing,
tracker, even the
even the
tracker, while
tracker.
you're on, yeah, well, it says like today they were kept showing, 2, 3 holes left, but there were people finishing up two hole with other people with two holes left because of course, there's only 13 teams, 18 holes, that there's going to be open holes in front of somebody. And so even
Right.
that part was a bit hard to track. Um and yeah, go ahead. What was the next thing? Because I have
D-
something to say about the TV coverage as well.
yeah. And then the next thing, oh, yeah, John Rahm. No, he's not buying into the team concept because you know why? On the first day, he was crazy hot. Started out and was like at one point had got to seven and was on his way to shooting 64 because they're par 71 out there for the live event. But his team overall was four under. No way you could be happy about that. Your team, and again, you're taking the three best scores and y'all are still over par on the other two golf balls. No way he'd want to buy into that. What?
Well, they ended up winning it. Let's see here. I'm gonna find it
Because the
here real
Senate
quick.
guy came, the Senate guy
Yeah,
came back. That's the Tennessee ball guy. He came back and shot under par round over the
S-
3 days.
Caleb Surratt. So let me pull it up here.
And then
So they
Terrell
ended
Hatton was
up,
over par. They didn't even count his scores.
yep, top three. So they ended up 24 under. 20 under was the next highest team, and then 17. So with those gaps between people, is the team thing even really that competitive? Like I know there's a
No,
little bit extra kicker and extra money coming to them for that, but again, these are
yeah.
these are significant gaps between first to third. And yeah, it tightens up a little bit down below here, but overall, I don't. Yeah, there's not much to the team concept
Go
at all.
go back to Sergio Garcia in a playoff
Brother.
for the win. In a playoff for the win, your team finished sixth. You're not mad. You're not mad at all.
Right,
Like
right.
you gotta be shitting me, bro. Like there's no way I'd be sitting here excited about team golf. Like this has been a 4 century individual event, but now all of a sudden we getting back into team golf, bro. This is college golf, and it pretty much is. They got shorts. Some of them got the shirt tucked in. Some of them don't. Like
So is it?
this is
It
a
was interesting because the rookie Caleb Surratt, he was out there in his pants, full
Cam
on,
Smith
looked
wears
like a
pants.
pro.
I mean, some of them
I
still
know,
wear pants.
I know, because it looks,
Hey, John
I
Rahm
don't know,
should wear pants. By
becoming.
the way, his legs are not. He needs to
he's,
wear.
he's not ready
Some of
for
the
the
golfers,
shorts.
no. Some of these golfers need to wear pants. Like your legs not that built. Like your shorts not that form fitting. Like they at that awkward length. Like, are they trying to be above the knee, or is this just
It
like
it
the longest inseam they have? Let me know.
it it looks like a dude named John that's stopping off at the turn, flirting with the chick at the bar while he's getting his fireball shot in his turn dog. I'm just saying it looks so sloppy to me, man. Like I get it, y'all are
Thomas
there to
Piers
have
looks like he could be in our four ball like right now. He
right
literally looked like
high
yo, bro. Like
socks.
he teed off at 7:30 with us. You know, he just trying to get it in before he got to work his half day at the office and shit like that. He told the boss he'll be there for the he'll be there for the meeting at 11 and stuff like that. So just things like that is just crazy to me, bro. It's so
It is.
insane, man. Like
On the coverage, like a lot of complaining early on was about again PGA Tour coverage over focusing on the leaders. But guess what? Today, in the whole 3 hours that I watched this afternoon, they only focused on a handful of golfers. So at the end of the day, people want to see the people that are closest to the top of the leaderboard, not the field just
yeah,
hitting
they
random
still want to see
shots.
the best golf.
So again, I'm very um sensitive, or I don't know the word I would use here, but very attentive to what you say because like when you commit yourself to and have all this conviction around certain statements and they're not really based in fact or truth, that stuff ends up coming to bite you back. All these arguments that
Yeah,
were being made to kind of knock down the PGA Tour instead of just being honest about what this situation is, it just looks at the end of the day really bad on you when you come back and you're pretty much doing the same exact thing that your
Right.
competitor was doing, and you put yourself out there as someone that was the anti PGA. So I don't know, man. That part just really stuck out to me as well. I'm like, okay, I'm watching the same five golfers finish this up as if I was watching any other tournament golf across the
Hmm.
planet, because that's what happens. But anyway, any other points that you picked up on? See, y'all, look at us giving live golf hours of
In depth.
our time. We are speaking
In
with
depth.
depth and knowledge. And again, in the comment section, if you have a legitimate retort to what we've said and observed with our own two eyes, because we are watching it. And honestly, a lot of times when people come back and say, "Hey, y'all don't even know what you're talking about," down the line, I I often think that you don't know what you're talking about, because
Right.
the comments are so out of left, they're not really applicable. And here we are watching and giving this our time. And again, it was cool. There's aspects that you can get with, and you cannot poo poo the lineups. Like, who they're getting, are they're good players, right? But are they performing at the level that you would have wanted them to perform? Probably not right now. Um,
Right.
you're not, outside of Rom, a lot of their big gets didn't really. I didn't even see DJ. Jesus Christ, where did he finish?
He finished middle of the pack or like top five or something like that. DJ started out hot. He started out with like six birdies, had got it to like five with a couple bogeys, and then like missed a few par putts going down the stretch and ended up finishing like three on Friday. Then he tried to build again. I mean, still a likable guys, just not a likable product overall. Like, I don't want to see you in this space, but we're gonna talk about that. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah. Okay, so yeah, Dustin Johnson 4 under day one, day two even 4 under today to finish at 8 under, which was fifth. But again,
this.
anticlimactic. It's just not really close to the lead, and
Yeah.
um, we talked about in our text thread that Joaquin Neiman pretty much set the number on day one and was only able to extend that out. No, he did not extend it out. I'm sorry. Day one, he set the number shooting a 59
That's
because it's a
it.
par
Yeah.
71, and that's where it finished. So I don't know. That just doesn't scream quality golf to me. That one, he wasn't able to extend it out, and then two, that no one else was able to surpass that number. Um,
Right.
I don't know, man. It's just I want to like it. I want to give it a chance to be a winning thing. But you mentioned your ideas about how this merger thing, how you kind of your thoughts on it. What have you been thinking about?
Yeah. Let's get into it. I, it's very, like I said, it seems in theory like this could be complicated, but it shouldn't be. In honesty, if the live golfers only want to play 14 events and we want to have a authentic merger, I think the way it should go is, why did we ever get rid of the World Golf Championships? That was the events right there where the top of the line golfers were from any tour possible. Now, again, my only beef is if they want to qualify for this to where we're having a 14 a 14 event season for everybody that is an elite golfer to be in, what should the qualifications be if you're not playing tournament golf to where you can earn legitimate world golf ranking points? Are we going to go off majors alone? How are we going to do that when there's so many random one-offs? Like, I mean, we're talking about Louis Oosthuizen, who won the Open in '99 and has not come back to glory. We're talking about Charles Schwartzer, who won the Masters in 2007 and has not returned to glory. This is what we're talking about. Like, if you want to go by majors, we can do that, but that's gonna, broaden the field, lengthen the money out, and not everybody that's elite is going to be getting a chance to get the top piece of the pie. Now, if we want to do it where y'all are playing 4 round events or 72 hole events, then
That
it'd be
part.
much
That part.
easier. It'd be so easy. You'd get the world golf ranking points. You'd qualify for the majors. You can stay over there and play 14 events, and then the PGA Tour can come over and play those 14 events on elite golf courses, not these high end munis and shit that y'all are playing on and things like that, or like you know what? Where are they playing next week in Vegas?
Las Vegas,
Are
Las Vegas Country Club, or it's Country Club of Las Vegas. I have it pulled up here. The Las Vegas Country Club.
So that's pretty good. Where does Kevin Na? Where does he play out of? Because he's Vegas native. Does he
That's a
not?
good
Does
question.
he not play out of? I mean, is
I
he? I
mean,
guess he plays out of everyone.
there there's a lot of high end golf in Vegas, so he could play out of
Yeah,
a number of different places. There's Wolf Creek, there's Shadow, what is it? Shadow,
yeah,
not Shadow Ranch, something
yeah.
like that.
Shadow
There's some high
Shadow
end,
Creek or something like that.
yeah. There's some high end courses that he could, again, no shade to the quality of golf. I would say that Mayakoba is probably going to be one of the top as an ex PGA Tour site for them
Yeah,
to go sit. That this week was probably one of the best that we'll see. We'll see what next week lines up as, and as the season changes. I think that's also one of the things that is also hard for me as a fan of golf is they've been changing out their locations each year, and we're not going to see
yeah,
any different. This year they're going to be in some places that we've never seen, as they try to figure out their stuff. And so, how do I come back and relate to what you guys are doing, or make mental notes around, oh, I remember that shot from this course, a couple of
yeah,
years ago or whatever, right? It's just not there, because I remember their first event in London, and I'm like, okay, the course was interesting because it was tree lined in London, but they haven't been back there, or at least I haven't watched an event there, so it's just always changing up. You mentioned something. I think there's two things to me that keep them from getting the official world golf ranking points. Of course, it is the 72 hole tournament. That's
right.
that's the basics. You have to have
The
that.
biggest proponent of this. Yeah,
Yeah, and then another part of it, and you could see them trying to effort towards that, is some kind of qualification, other than we wrote you a big check and you accepted it. Right now,
Oh, yeah.
there's not a way that someone typically earns their way onto live golf.
Right.
It's just
It's
not.
pretty much
They
an
had their
invitational.
it is, and so they had their qualification, tournament this year, but these are not star golfers that ended up making that, and so cool. But how many years is it going to take for them to get that to that point where they can fully flesh out a field of 54 golfers as they currently have it constituted, that have earned their spots onto live golf?
Yeah.
I saw a thread today kind of related to that. They're like, how the heck does Tiger's tournament with 20 players qualify for world golf ranking points? Something that I had never really thought about. Like, okay, cool, they qualify for points. Well, the fact is that that tournament went on for 15 years and just recently started getting those points. And the players
Yeah.
that are there are not just there by random invite, they're there by their world golf ranking and other qualifications into the tournament. So they've done certain things to get to that status. And again, live golf has a long way to get there, in addition to adding another round of golf. So
Definitely. I mean,
I think,
also, I think like, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, I think you're right in the way that you're thinking about it, right? In terms of the world championships going away, or what do we call them? Was it one world
Now we call them
championships?
elevated events.
Right. Those. had a place. I get it, like that, where they weren't probably making as much revenue as the PGA Tour and the sponsors
Right.
would have liked. But now that you have this new investment money that has come in on the American side, on the PGA Tour side, which is an American based investment, group of guys, Arthur Blank from the
Sports owners. Yeah.
from Home Depot, some sports owners from like the Fenway Group and Red Sox and all that jazz. There's people that have dealt with sport and know what to do and how to bring up revenue. Now you just got to get the players all back together. Um, and I don't know if this deal threatens the Saudi side of it because they keep saying, oh, there's a pathway for, the Saudi PIF money to get in there. So we'll see how
Hmm.
that goes. Again, they've reset the deck for the Masters. So
Masters. Yep.
we have 2 more months to go now.
Yeah.
January just flew through. I mean, we're on February 4th today.
The fourth
Um,
day of February.
it's crazy. So yeah, as I was thinking about my golf depression, I was like, okay, we're only a couple months away from the Masters, which typically does really kind of set off the season, right? Things go pretty fast after that, right? Because we'll have major month after month for 4 months at
Yeah.
that point. So yeah, I think the way that we've talked about the last 2 weeks of not 2 consecutive weeks, but we said, hey, are we overcomplicating this? And then the way like again, I think there's really simple ideas, and yes, nothing is just black and white as we're saying it, but I don't know what those. I would really love to be a fly on the walls of those discussions. And is this a big just ego pissing contest between people with a lot of money, or are they actually getting into any substance and trying to fix the problems of the game of golf? Because, like you
Yeah.
said earlier, there's other sports out there that can easily suck up the viewership for golf. We talk about this over and over again. It's a niche sport. And the sooner that golf realizes it's a niche sport with a limited amount of eyes that will ever be on the game, it will never exceed the NFL. It will never exceed the NBA. It will never exceed
Right.
MLB and never exceed NHL either. So you are going to be the fifth league. And we're not even talking about professional soccer overseas, my guy. Like
Right.
Jesus,
International soccer, anything like that.
like
FIFA, World Cup,
right.
Olympics, any of that stuff.
I just went straight American based, but I'm, yeah, straight up. I mean, there's countries where cricket is the thing, and
Cricket.
they could
Yeah.
give a damn about any of this other stuff. So golf needs
Rugby.
to
I mean, for real.
right.
Like, be for
Golf
real.
needs to realize who they are, right? Like,
Yeah.
dude, have a come to Jesus talk with the members, get everybody straight, and say, hey, this 3 billion can be gone tomorrow. The Saudi PIF money could be gone tomorrow. And yeah, cool. The early entrance to live golf, you got your money, but that situation, like as a future aspect for upcoming golfers, I don't think it's realistic that they're going to be able to continue to pay people. A Terrell Haddon got like 60 something million. Is Terrell Haddon worth $60 million?
No, but he's
No,
a name.
he's a name, but I don't think that. How long can that go before it's just like, hey, we're just throwing money into, we're just
No, I
burning
agree.
up cash and not really changing that until our audience is gone. Because I'm at the point where I'm frustrated with this shit. I'm just tired of money talk, and I think even seeing Rory again continue to lighten up his
Yeah,
speech
he's
this
going.
week.
He's on the verge right now. I don't know if I like where he's headed now. We hit a nice little. You know what I'm saying? We hit a nice little pretty medium. It's fine. Like, I get it. These the homies. You trying to be sympathetic to the cause and stuff like that. But bro, Ricky Fowler said it best. Yo, it's cool. You wanted to chase the money. You wanted to try it out. I get that. But there's still got to be some penalization for that. There's still got to be some type of suspension. There's still got to be some type of qualification back onto the tour. It's not just, oh, we just gonna pick back up and you just get right back in line. That's not how it works. If you left to go move your car up in the parking lot, you're not getting your spot back. You going back to the end of the line, my boy. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Yo, hey, nah,
Yeah.
Roy was holding my spot. He said if I just holler at him, I could just go back. Yeah. No? Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right, now I guess I'm back here with you guys. What's up? How y'all doing? Like that's how that shit need to work. Like for real. I
Yeah.
get it. You want to be able to come back, but like it just ain't no way that I'm sitting like or without fines. You know what I'm saying? You miss this
Right.
amount of
In the
weeks.
same
It needs to be
same.
this
Yeah.
much amount that you need to be given, or a
DP
percent,
World
like a
Tour.
certain percentage or something. Yeah.
Okay, got a comment here. Let's see here. Andy, how you doing, man? It's been a little bit. Greetings from Western North Carolina, gents. Tried to watch live today. I'm sorry to say, I found the Pro Bowl flag football game more interesting, which says a lot, bro. Coverage looks like NASCAR with all that mess on the left. I agree. The
It
graphics
really
are
did.
a hot mess, and they even call it the God, I forget how they call it. They use the race car references as well. It's like, man, do your own thing. Stop borrowing from everybody else. It's just weird, but yeah, like I said, we're trying to give it a chance. And Andy, you know, we've been accused of being shields for the PGA Tour. We're gonna give it a chance, and
And we are gonna watch next week too.
yes,
Believe that.
believe it. But yeah, I agree. I mean, that's just hard. It really is hard. And you're always better off watching with the sound off because it's a bit of a joke. Jerry Foltz is also he's man. I want to know what Jerry Foltz checks looks like because he's always swinging it
Unbearable,
back.
even in LPGA.
Oh, I like Jerry with the women. I don't. I did not dislike Jerry, but he is straight up shilling for Live. Again, he's got to be getting some big paychecks because he always brings it back to the positive when it comes to Live. But whatever,
You
man.
know why? You know why Jerry was cool on the LPGA? Because he had been there for years and knew all them people.
Yeah.
Now, if
So,
he just hopping on the scene, then it's kind of like, oh, Jerry kind of like a little weird. Like, oh, okay, Jerry, cool.
but
Oh,
yeah, good
Jerry,
seeing you.
yeah, didn't see you there.
Good seeing you again in the chat, Andy. Welcome back, my guy. Hope you're doing well out there, man. Hopefully you're getting to swing the sticks around. You know, during this weird time of golf that we're in. Um, Random. We're heading into the Super Bowl next week, so you care to make a pick?
Um,
Who you got?
Honestly, well, I can't cheer for the 49ers.
Well,
Got
you
me
don't have to
messed
cheer
up.
for anybody. You're just making a pick, bro.
I'm picking the
You're not
Chiefs.
marrying
I want
anybody.
the Chiefs to win. I want the Chiefs to win.
Okay.
The Taylor Swift and the Brittany Mahomes saga does not affect me. It does not consume me as many people believe it does. Like people
I'm
are
okay. Hold on.
so
Pause. I'm gonna let you come back to it. You just gotta tell me why do you? This is 2 weeks in a row. Why May Holmes? Why not Mahomes? Why May Holmes?
I don't know. That's just always how I've said it.
Okay, it was just 2 weeks in a row. I had to ask, bro. I wasn't. I'm not trying to put you on Front Street. I was just like, oh, he says that differently.
I don't think I've ever, even when he was at Tech and U of H was playing them and stuff like that, I don't think I ever once said Mahomes, Pat Mahomes. I think I've always
It's
said
always
Pat
been
Mahomes.
okay. Go
Yeah, I guess
ahead.
if I sound country, my apologies.
Whatever. I
Um,
just asked him.
yeah, I mean, it's a business at the end of the day. If they putting Taylor Swift on there, let them put Taylor Swift on there. The numbers done already came out. They done revenue 330 million or something insane like that. NFL, TV networks, all because of T Swift and all the Swifty Nation.
Yeah.
If you money grabbing, you money grabbing. Ain't nobody mad at that. And
Yeah.
Brittany,
I think the
Brittany is
results were
Brittany.
legit.
Yeah. And Brittany is Brittany. Brittany always gonna cheer for her man. She gonna be an obnoxious wife regardless. So y'all just be mad about the shit that's gonna happen regardless. You telling me you don't want your wifey to be screaming and hollering her face off? She is a already Hall of Fame quarterback wife. What, you ain't getting lit off that? You done already got kids by the man. He got a $500 million deal. He got ownership in the
Hey,
Whataburger out there in Missouri, bro.
you have gone left on me, bro. I was just asking for a game analysis.
My
I
fault.
look, I
I
get
had a
it.
lot on my
I don't
chest about
think
that because there's a lot of haters out there for no reason.
I don't think
I'm not a
I
May,
get it.
I'm not a May Holmes apologist though. By the way,
I get it. People, I'm about to highlight a comment here in a second, but
thank
I
you,
think I think
thank
that
you,
okay, I'll pull it up. Sorry. Pepe
please and thank
Atkins.
you.
Mahomes knew who his wife was before we even knew she existed, and he cool with that. LOL. Exactly. Like it's cool for her to be super fan, right? If you're married, you want your wife to be that type of psycho about you and be your fan. But just strictly to me, I think Kansas City. I picked them because I think it's hard to bet against Kansas City at the end of the day, right? Like Marcus is having a good ass. And I'm a hater, says Pepe. Like Bev said, but I can respect what you just said. Okay. I'm picking Kansas City too. Not because of any of the conspiracy theory stuff or the
Oh
fix is
yeah,
in and they want, you know, I want it to be a good game per usual, right? I think
facts.
we'll get that. It's also hard to bet against San Francisco. They've gutted it out through this point as well. But I think Kansas City's been there before. Some rumors around Andy Reid retiring, doing it for the Gipper, all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
so we'll see, bro. I'm looking forward to a good
Marcus is
game.
not
Look,
15.
yeah, it really is. Looking forward to a good halftime
Oh,
show with Ursher. See some
yes,
Ursher.
sir. Chill out.
Okay, okay,
Oh.
bro. I'm gonna have to.
Pepe.
We're okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do our sign off, and then I'm gonna put this comment up. That's gonna be the end of the show because I don't think we can't top this. So um we're 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 gonna work out the schedule. I don't. We'll talk about the schedule next week. We're not gonna compete with the Super Bowl. No way. Um. This one I'm gonna put up, and then again we'll do our sign off. Bearded Bros Golf Show. Come check us out, man. I'm Rod,
And I'm Marcus.
and we'll catch you guys next week. We're gonna sign off with this one. If you know, you know.
My
If you
boy.
know, you know. If you know, you know. Go look up.
Absolutely.
Go do your Googles on this comment. Peace.